So in this video, I'm going to go about how I made my angled soap dispenser. We can see the 3D printed model here. Uh, just some of how I went through this process on it, as we can see the soap dispenser right here. Uh, I took measurements on the bottle, the width of my shelf, how much of an angle I wanted, the radius of this bottle here for free and all clear all, and design my shelf specifically for this bottle. And I'll go through that whole entire process of what I did. So I will have this YouTube short in the chat as well if you'd like to check that out, or into the description. So we can see I have it completed here. I'm going to start this over from scratch and do a new part studio. I'm going to place a sketch down in my front. And if you looked at my previous version of this, which was my little soap catcher, I'm going to design it the same way. My measurements on this are going to be 1/8 of an inch. I feel that's sturdy enough, but yet works for printing on the plastic. So I'm going to start with that initial 2.65 by 1/8 of an inch rectangle. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool again. I'm going to go 2 inches and sticking to that 0.125, or that 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to dimension this, and this is again for a 1/4 or 3/4 inch shelf, putting into play my printer margin. So I'm going to come down 0.9 on that. The next thing I'm going to do is grab my rectangle tool again, and I'm going to do my little soap tray first, 2.5, and again we're going to stick with that 0.125, or that 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to stick with a little lip catch at the front of 0.25 by 0.25. I think on the previous one I did 1/4 of an inch. Again, this is something that you can play with and see what works out best for what you're designing. I'm then going to extrude this 3 inches. So I have that center part of the lip all configured and out. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little tray catch on the top of the cutout here. And for this bottle, I'm going to do a 2.1. I'm going to make sure I'm centered, 2.1 inch. It's a 2-inch cup that I'm doing it for. So again, for whatever you're designing, you might want to alter that. And I'm going to make this 1.25. I'm going to extrude this 0.1 as a removal. So what we can see is we have the base of this started. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is, the way I've chosen to do this, is I'm going to need to put a plane down. If I was to design this again, I might choose to do it a little differently, but I'm going to move that plane 1.5 inches out. So now on that is where I'm going to place my, you know what, I'm going to go back. Nope, I need to make this a little bit different. So I'm going to place that sketch on that plane here. I'm going to do my little rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw, starting from here, a 2-inch by that same 1.25 inch. And I'm going to then extrude this 5.5 inches. Now I'm making my top base a little bit larger than that bottom base so I can have my entire housing. I want to do this symmetrical, so I go in both directions on it. And I definitely screwed up somewhere. 0.125 here. And I want to make that symmetrical, so I have a little bit larger of a platform than I do on the bottom.